Hello there, Year 5s, it's Mr. Conway here. Now for today's how-to guide is for maths, and in maths today you're going to be ordering and comparing decimals. Now I know there was a BBC bite-sized video to go along with this, so please watch that first, but this is just a how-to guide to help you with this Deepen It question that you'll find in your lesson PowerPoint today. So let's have a look at this question. The question says this: Sharon says 1.295 is greater than 1.35 because it has more digits. Sharon is incorrect. Explain why. Now, straight away, we know that this is, without doubt, a deepen it, because we've got to do some explanations. Okay, so we're going to be looking at deepening it. Draw a little cloud around there. Let's have another look at this question and see if there's any important information that we need to be aware of. Sharon says 1.295. So here we are. That's one of our decimals we're going to be looking at today. Is greater than 1.35 because it has more digits. It has more digits. So 1.295 and 1.35 are the decimals we are working with. Sharon is explaining that 1.295 is greater than 1.35. However, we know she is incorrect. And this is her reasoning. It has more digits. Right. Over to us, and we need to try and decompose this a little bit and see if we can find out where the mistake has been made, as we know that a marvellous mistake has certainly been made. So before we do anything, I'm just going to write a little number sentence underneath, because Sharon's statement is that 1.295 is greater, remember this symbol means greater than 1.35. And if you're not too sure which way your greater than less than symbol goes, remember, this is a hungry crocodile, and the hungry crocodile always wants to eat the larger number. But I'm going to put a big X there just to remind me that this is certainly not correct. Let's explain and figure out why. Now, the first decimal we're going to be looking at is 1.295. We're going to look at this decimal first. And to help, I'm going to use my place value chart. I'm actually going to start building this number first. I wonder if I can do it this way and you can still see what I'm looking at. Okay, brilliant. So 1.295. First of all, I'm going to build this, right? So how many ones do I have? I've got 1 ones in 1.295. My next place value is tenths. 1.2, right? So I've got to have 2 tenths. And here are my tenths. 1, 2. My next is hundredths. I've got 9 hundredths, it says. Right, so I'm going to get 9 hundredths out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just about fit in there. And next is my thousands. So I've got my 1, my 2 tenths, my 9 hundredths, my thousands. It's 5 right then. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 1. 3 tenths, 9 hundredths, and 5 thousandths. So now I've built my decimal, I'm going to write this out using digits on a little mini place value chart. And I would really recommend, highly recommend, I should say, that you use a place value chart for this type of question and for any questions you get like this in the future as well. So it doesn't have to be anything posh or neat. It just needs to be something that looks like this. There you go, you can see my lines are very, very off there. So if I think about my place value that I've just done, I had 1 whole, put my decimal point in, I had 2 tenths, 9 hundredths, and 5 thousandths. Now if I was to expand this, we've done this in a previous video, that would be 1 whole plus 2 tenths plus 9 hundredths plus 5 thousandths. And again, if I was to write this as a decimal expanded, it would be 1 whole plus 0.2 plus 0.09. And I'm sure you know maths is all about spotting patterns. You might see a pattern here with the zeros. And for my thousands, it would be 0.005. 0.005. Okay, so that's the first decimal. So I've expanded it, I've explored it. I know it pretty well. Next, I'm going to be looking at the next decimal, which is 1.35. That's my next decimal. So, I'm going to get my place value chart back again and remove all of this. Put that to the side a second. Right then, here we are. 1.35. I'm going to build this decimal now. So I've got 1 whole, just like before. How many tenths? I've got 3 tenths this time. 1, 2, 3. Interestingly, you can be doing some comparison now. There's already a slight difference here. See if you can spot it. I've got my 3 tenths. For my hundredths, I've only got 5 this time instead of 9. So let me put these in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And my decimal stops there because, as Sharon said, this decimal has less digits in it. So my thousands is actually going to be completely blank. There's nothing to go in there. So if I was to now write this in the same squiffy place value chart that I've made before, 1.35, got 1 whole. I might just draw a little squiggly line here to show we're working on a different decimal. 1 whole. This time I've got 1, 2, 3 tenths instead of 2 tenths. I have 5 hundredths. And how many are my thousands? Absolutely nothing. Okay, so I'm just going to car park this to the side for now, because now I've built it, I can now expand on these decimals, okay? So this time I've got 1 whole plus 3 tenths plus 5 hundredths and nothing else. If I was to write this as an expanded decimal, it would be 1 plus 0.3 plus 0.05. Right, now I've explored both of these decimals. I've done a little bit of comparing as well. I've got the same ones. My tenths are different. I've got more tenths here than I have here. But my hundreds, I've got more hundreds here than I have here. And I've got absolutely no thousands there at all. So let's just keep all that information in our heads. But I need to decide which of these two decimals is greater. Now, to solve this type of calculation, what you need to do is to draw a number line. So the whole number here is the number 1. And the next whole number is the number 2. I'm going to draw a line going all the way across. Now, I know about halfway along here, I'm going to have about there. What's halfway between 1 and 2? Well, it's simply 1.5. So I'm now going to need to do a few more landmarks in here as well. So I've got 1.5. Between 1 and 1.5, I'm going to have 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4. Between 1.5 and 1.2, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to have 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, and then I end at 2. So what I'm going to do now with my two decimals is I'm actually going to plot them on this number line that I have created. So first of all, 1.295, 1.2, so 1, 1.1, 1.2. Now 1.295, that's pretty close to 1.3. And if you want any advice on rounding up decimals, please look at yesterday's or the previous videos to help you with that. So 1.295 is probably just about here. Very close to 1.3. So I'm just going to put in here 1.295. Now my next decimal is 1.35. So I'm explored. I'm happy with it. So 1.35. 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. 1.35 is actually bang in the middle between 1.3 and 1.4. So 1.35. Now if I'm looking at this number line, which is the greater decimal? Which decimal is closest to the next whole number, which is 2? Well, you can clearly see it is certainly 1.35. So therefore, even though it has less digits than 1.295, it's certainly the greater decimal. And we can also prove it's the greater decimal, and that's from looking at the tenths. That the tenths, there's more tenths, there are 3 tenths, than there are in this decimal. So now we've explored it, we've understood where the marvellous mistake came, we need to look at this part of the question as to explain. Right, so let's think of an explanation. Well, first of all, I'm going to start writing, Sharon is incorrect. And we know that is true because it says so in the question, but we've also explored that. So Sharon is incorrect because 1.35, let's have a look at our number line now. 1.35 is closer to 2 wholes than 1.295. Also, 1.35, so I've looked at my number line now, I want to go back to my place value chart. 1.35 has how many tenths, do you remember? That's right, 3 tenths. Whereas 1.295 only has 2 tenths. So we are happy with this now. We've got our explanation, and that's what the question is actually wanting us to do. Now, I know it's very tempting when you get a Deepen It question like this to just do the maths side of it, okay? Just to do the maths and say, right, I've done it. But actually, the question is to explain, and that's why it's a Deepen It. This is where your mathematical reasoning is being enhanced, is being practiced, and this explanation that proves that you have fully understood the question. So if you've had a got this question already, but haven't included your explanation, you're only part of the way there. This part here is what the question is actually asking you to do. We are explaining. So then, Year 5, it's now over to you. Have a go at this and other similar questions where you want to practice your explanation skills of your mathematical reasoning, okay? So there you are, Year 5s. That's how you deconstruct a Deepen It question. We're going to do some math, some explanation, and then you're going to combine it all together. This is a really fun question to have a go at, and I hope you have just as much fun doing it as well. Other than that, everybody, from Sharon and myself, have a lovely day. Goodbye.